People, good evening. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget to please hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, we are going to talk Tyson Fury, True Geordie, and that interview. A lot of you reached out to me, but I just want to quickly share some good news. I did tell you guys about a week ago that I am going out to the Floyd Mayweather fight in Dubai. He's obviously fighting KSI's younger brother. Now, I was going to go out for DAZN and just do, I think, some reporting stuff. They reached out to me today, said, no, we want you to lead present the show. So I'm going out there to be the lead presenter, which is good news. It's always good experience to do that. I also will present the next couple of DAZN shows. So the Dillian White one, November 26th, which I think is a decent card, and the Josh Warrington card as well. So I'm going to do those. Laura's going to be in the World Cup, so I step in for Laura when she's off. And then I think I go to the World Cup at the semi-final and final stage as well. So yeah, busy few weeks coming up, and I'm so grateful for the opportunities. I tell you what card I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going a bit under the radar, and it's the one coming up this Saturday. I fly out to Abu Dhabi on Wednesday morning for Bivol Ramirez. That is a great fight. That is such a good fight. I will favour Bivol. I am definitely team Bivol, but I think that's a great fight. I think the co-main event, Chantel Cameron McCaskill's a great fight. I think Zelfa Barrett Rakimov's a great fight as well. So I think that card is going a bit under the radar, but I think it's a very, very good card. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about this Tyson Fury, True Geordie interview. One thing that I hope that you guys can take from it, because I do feel like YouTubers get a lot of stick when they don't ask the questions you want them to ask in interviews. I think a lot of you, I read the comments from all the YouTube channels. Like sometimes I'll be up to the middle of the morning and I'm reading and watching YouTube channels and reading the comments, and you guys are like, why didn't you ask that question? Why didn't you ask that question? Hopefully now you can see why they don't push it. Because if they push it, they're going to get that kind of response. And unlike True Geordie, who doesn't give a fuck if he gets that response because he's a millionaire, he doesn't really care if the boxing world block him, the YouTubers rely on getting these interviews with these fighters. Tyson Fury does that to one of the YouTubers, and Tyson Fury is one of the biggest names in boxing. They don't get that monetization. They might get blocked by the promoter. They might get blocked by the broadcast. A lot can happen. And that's why they don't push the interviews, because they get that kind of response that you saw from Tyson Fury. Now, I will say this about Tyson Fury. Every time I've interviewed him, and I've interviewed him a lot, whether it be very early in my YouTube days and obviously now for Talk Sport, he's been fantastic. But I don't do what True Geordie does. I don't push the needle. And some of you might ask, why don't you push the needle as a broadcaster? They can't block you. They can't block you, but trust me, I know certain fighters have asked for certain broadcasters not to interview them. They've got, no, I don't want to be interviewed by him or her. That happens. So I think now you guys have been able to see what happens when certain fighters are pushed. When certain fighters are pushed, they do not like it. And this isn't, obviously what we saw yesterday was Tyson Fury. It's not just a Tyson Fury problem. I've witnessed in my own eyes, with my own eyes, obviously I've been at boxing events now behind the scenes for, 14, 15 months. I've witnessed with my own eyes certain YouTubers push the agenda and certain fighters almost say fuck off and walk away. I've seen it. But you guys don't know that. So when you think that these YouTubers, and some of them are really good, I feel even bad calling them YouTubers, but obviously their content goes on YouTube. I think some of them are really good at what they do. But when you see these YouTubers not push it, it's almost because they can't push it. If they push it, you'll see that they will get what True Geordie got yesterday. But for them, as I say, it's worse because for them, this is what they do. This is their income. This is how they pay their bills. And they can't afford for them to get that reaction from boxers. They can't, right? Especially not a Tyson Fury level boxer. Tyson Fury's always big views for these YouTubers. If Tyson Fury says F off, they lose out on the money. And that's why they can't push it. And it's a shame. Where, as I say, True Geordie, who, I mean, look, True Geordie, I know, signed a massive deal with Spotify. His YouTube channel's got over 2 million subscribers. He's got poker tournaments. My good friend Rory Jennings, who I work with on TalkSport 2, always tells me about, you know, how good True Geordie's doing financially. So he's able to do what other boxing journos simply can't do, simply cannot do. Now, there are some journos that should be able to push it, right? The ones like your Gareth A. Davises of the world, your Steve Bunces of the world, they can, because they've got a bit more stock in this game, right? They're a bit more old school. You can't just block them. You can't just refuse to be interviewed by them. It just doesn't work. But the new ones, the younger ones, unfortunately, if they do, again, what True Geordie did yesterday, good luck. Honestly, good luck. And look, True Geordie made some really good points in that one. Like he asked the questions that many probably haven't asked about this Chisora stuff. He's asked those questions. And I've seen, to be fair, I've seen some YouTubers push Frank Warren on the Chisora setup. And Frank Warren's got pissed off. You can see it. He's getting pissed off. And it's a shame. Like, it's almost though you can't ask boxers very hard-hitting, difficult questions. You can't. You can't, honestly, you can't do it. Because that's the response. And it's a shame that, I don't want to stick up for Fury, but I just want to say it's not, like, a lot of people have said, oh, the mask has slipped with Fury. That's not a Fury issue. That's a lot of boxers would do that. They might not do what Fury did at the end, which is all the swear words and the effing and blinding, but in terms of sort of being negative in an interview, a lot would do that. True Geordie is just able to do it and not give a fuck. If he doesn't ever get an interview with Tyson Fury again, it literally means nothing to him. He did a video recently, sort of digging out Eddie Hearn. Again, there's some very good points in that video, by the way. He can do it. He's able to do it without any care in the world. And he's in a very, very good position. I would love to be as free as him. And I'm sure that there are many sort of boxing YouTube channels that are watching that interview thinking, oh, I'd love to be able to do that. I really want to do that. But they can't. Honestly, they can't. And again, I've been at shows and I've heard certain fighters ask journalists, what are you going to ask me before the interview starts? And some are like, no, don't ask me that, don't ask me that, don't ask me that. So again, I think the reason I'm even doing this video is so I want you to kind of be a bit easier on the YouTubers who you think are not asking the questions. Because again, if they ask them, they're not getting interviews. If they don't get the interviews, they don't make money. They don't make money. Again, for some, this is their full-time job. If they don't make money, then what are they supposed to do? So you can't really push the agenda. Some do. I think Rob Tebbit really pushes the agenda. And I'm sure that he's even had, and I think Rob will probably say he's even had sort of boxers not wanting to talk to him again because he pushes it, but some just can't. Some can't, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a bit uncomfortable viewing, I thought, especially when, like, True Geordie's sort of saying that, like, Chisora isn't a formidable opponent, and Fury's talking about, yeah, I want to be the first person to have, like, 2 trilogies, and I'm thinking, what? I swear to God, that's what I'm thinking in my head, like, huh? You're not the first heavyweight to have 2 trilogies, like, what are we talking about? I'm so confused by it all. Someone needs to bring him up on that. Like, someone needs to tell him that's not the case. Like, but I don't know anyway. But yeah, it got uncomfortable. I guess there was a bit of deflection from Fury when he started almost sticking up for Chisora. But that wasn't the angle that True Geordie was trying to go down. Like, True Geordie obviously respects Chisora. Me and True Geordie have spoken about boxing in the past. He clearly respects Chisora. He just doesn't think, like a lot of people, that this will be a competitive fight. And he's just airing those views. He doesn't think that. Tyson Fury could argue, and he did argue back by saying, well, you know, we've sold nearly 60,000 tickets. And that's a good argument, right? But doesn't shy away from the fact that a lot of people think this won't be competitive. But we'll see. Look, boxing has a weird way of surprising us. A weird way of surprising us. Do I think it will surprise us this time around? No. Do I think Chisora will put on Fury and give everything he's got? Absolutely. He'll do better than Dillian Whyte did. I'll tell you that now. But ultimately, it won't be... There are other guys in the top 15 that'll be more competitive. One thing I really, really hate that Fury has started doing, or has he? Maybe he's been doing it for a while, is when he says things like, no one cares about that foreign fighter. He says it in such a way that just makes my skin crawl. Like, honestly, it's bordering on sort of just racism. I don't like it when he says it a lot. He says it in a weird way, which I do not like. When he spoke about no one knows that other foreign fighter, he says it in a weird way, which I don't like, and I feel pretty uncomfortable. And someone needs to pull him up on that. Someone from his team needs to put him up on it, or do they? That's just Fury, isn't it? Like, one thing about Fury that I guess I love, so I need to accept what he does, is that he speaks his mind and doesn't give a shit. There are some fighters that a lot of you guys consider maybe too PC and maybe too media trained. You can't accuse Fury of that. So I guess you've almost got to accept it. You've almost got to accept it. Like, I'm a big Conor McGregor fan. He kind of pushes the needle as well. You can't laugh at them when they do their jokes, almost like comedians, right? Comedians will go as far as they can go, and they will literally touch the surface of what could be considered homophobic, racist, whatever. But that's just how they are, and I think Fury's a bit like that as well. But I don't like what he says about foreign fighters. I just don't like the way he says it. But yeah, look, my take on it to end is True Geordie is able to do that because he can do that, because it doesn't affect his pocket if he never ever gets an interview again. I think Fury said at the end, you're never going to get an interview. True Geordie speaks, I don't care. Whereas other people who might want to push the needle and ask those questions that True Geordie asked simply can't, because if they don't get an interview with Tyson Fury again, then it just doesn't help their channel. It doesn't. So yeah, that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Let me know. Peace.